Okay, so we're loading up in 4-1 here. So, we're doing soul level 1, no roll, no shield, no magic for this. This is only on regular games, so it's not too hard, even under these circumstances. Like, as you can see, I just got hit by his rolling, and it didn't really do too much damage. And parry into R2 is a kill. Now, it is possible, and you would have to do it on New Game Plus with these restrictions, to avoid all the rolling damage. You need to space a punch just right to interrupt them out of the roll, but the timing is tight, and that was an accidental roll, ignore that. And another parry. You can space a punch to counter hit them out of their roll, so they do not do any damage to you. It's not easy, but it can be done fairly consistently if your timing is just right. Now, the only thing here is you just need to be careful not to aggro multiple rolling skeletons at the same time. I went for it there, but I didn't get it just right. It was still good to do that in regular game because he only hit me with one roll hitbox as opposed to like 2 or 3. But it is possible to avoid all damage if you time that just right. The archer skeleton doesn't have any melee, so you can just run up and R1 mash him. Just being careful to only aggro one. And there I got it. So we took no damage from that skeleton. That's what you'd have to do to every skeleton on New Game Plus if you were doing no magic, no shield. With a shield, it's pretty trivial, even on New Game Plus with all these restrictions. Because you can just block and punish accordingly. And you can, I'm not using my fist for a challenge for this. It's actually more effective to use your fist at this point in the game because the best weapon you could have at this point is probably worse than your fist, actually, because the skeletons take a ton of bonus damage to your fist, which is kind of cool. But we're about to get basically the good soul level 1 starting weapon, the Crimson Falchion. It's not great. It's just better than anything else you can get at this point in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is good, but there are better things you can get later. It's good for now. You just run past him. And now I'm going to try to parry this guy for no reason and die. So there we go. So now we'll go after Educator. So now that we have the Crimson Falchion, we do good damage. So we're going to fight the boss of this level. And this is a really simple boss. No shield, no rolls, soul level 1, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. He's very easy. It's probably the simplest boss strategy in the history of Souls. Actually, there's some other bosses in Demon Souls that might beat this in terms of simplicity. So you attack the sword in his belly, and then when you hear that noise, that bird, you walk where I just did, on basically by his other arm, to dodge it, and then eventually he'll fall when you attack the sword in his belly enough, and then you hit his head to hurt him, and you repeat that. And that's the boss. And yeah, that's literally all there is to it. That's the only attack he'll do. Sometimes he'll do a different melee attack. He'll do like a little overhead attack, but that attack is even easier to dodge. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I picked that up. Why not? I probably wasn't going to 2-cycle him anyway, so it's not really a time loss either. And yeah, that's Educator. Soul level 1, no blocking, no parrying, no magic, no rolling, no sprinting. Very difficult. Okay, alright. So 4-2 will be next, and that might actually pose some difficulties. It's probably one of the harder levels in the game, even though it's not that hard either. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do in this level is save Urbane, and the reason why is because if you want to get second chance... Oh, that's nice. I like when the game doesn't load. If you want to get second chance, you need to do that. And second chance is basically the most OP ability in the game, and you can use it at soul level 1, so it'd probably be a good idea to have access to it. So we're going to do that. And it's basically the only way... In Demon Souls, for Soul Level 1 New Game Plus, pretty much everything one-shots you. So having second chance can make levels a lot easier, obviously, so... It'd be good to make sure you don't just skip it. So this part without roll is a little tricky because that Reaper can kill you really easily. He can one-shot you if you come here this early. So I'm going to try sprint past, and there we go. So you just walk here, and Patches will kick you down, and there's Urbane. To save him, you have to kill the Red Phantom enemy down here, who's not that hard. Without a shield and without roll, he's harder than normal because the simple way to beat him is to basically just strafe with a shield up and then backstab punish him. But obviously we can't really do that. So I'm just going to try to R1 outspace him with R1s. And I think I do a horrible job if I remember right. Yeah, not good. And I think I end up cheesing him for fun because the Crescent Falchion does bleed. Now you might think like, oh, bleed, that's really good. No, in Demon Souls, bleed sucks. It's basically just an even worse poison. So it's almost completely irrelevant. But I thought, you know what? I could just do this any moment. And there we go. Okay, so now that we've done that, Urbane will show up in the Nexus later. So we can get second chance whenever we get Old Hero Soul, who happens to be the boss of this level. So that's very convenient for us.
Did you cleanse the world of another Dark Soul
And
today?
boom, a Dark Souls
God
name
has
drop.
chosen
Dark Souls 3 wasn't the first game to do that. Everyone is wrong. So anyway, now we just have to go up from here and go into the actual difficult part of this level. And I don't know why I bothered picking that up. I can't help myself. I pick up all the items to this day for no reason. He gives me a useless ring that I take every time. I don't know why. Can't help myself. Yep, just take all the items I don't need. Alright, so this is the tricky part right here. I actually developed new strats for this because with no roll, no blocking, it's much more difficult than normal. Well, honestly, I shouldn't say much more difficult. It's really not that much harder. I just had to be a little more creative. So here I'm trying to hit them with Soul Arrow to aggro them off the cliff. And it's not working because it doesn't even go that far. So I'm going to go closer until I can hit them. And it's very obnoxious to free aim spells in this game. Like it's very you're not really supposed to do it, so it's very unintuitive how it works. So I keep trying. And yeah, not working great. Not working great. Okay, so he got hit and he immediately killed himself, which is good. That's what we want to happen. Take off the Thief Ring to aggro him, and he kills himself. So that worked quite well, but later I will show you a much easier way to do that. And just like in 4.1, the archers, you can just walk up and R1 mash them. Now there's a cool little trick you can do here if the fog wall is still up, so you can only do this once per playthrough. If you get in that spot and mash X, you can clip right through, and the fog wall invincibility allows you to bypass those skeletons really easily. But again, you can only do that once, so if you die, like I'm about to, and this little skip makes this whole part just trivial. Because now all the ghosts in this area are dead once the Reaper's dead. So that's probably the hardest part of this level, and you can make it really easy. So now, the part coming up, there's actually quite a bit of RNG, as people like to say, randomness. And it's very... Basically, there's two things that can... Probably three things that will all kill you if things don't go well. So let's see what happens. So there's first this ghost, but we don't care about him. Now there's a ghost at the end of the hallway here that shoots a laser beam that will kill you. Like that. And normally I'd roll, but since I can't, I effing died. So now we're going to go through 4.2 again to show the new strats. Okay, so we're back in 4.2, and this time we're going to position ourselves in a specific spot here. Unequip the Thief Ring. Don't equip it immediately, wait about a second, and boom. Both skeletons kill themselves. And that's that's actually very consistent. You can do that like every time. Literally, if you're just standing in that spot and you unequip the Thief Ring and re-equip it in that timing, They'll kill themselves every time. Now for the golden skeletons, I would use soul remains, but if you like don't have any, this is a very simple way that will work every time to get past them. So you just lure them away. They're being kind of slow, so I had to go back. So you lure them away. Run, 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 run. And eventually they will turn around. And if they're turned around like this, you can just sprint right past them. Because by the time they turn around and by the time they attack, you're gone. I think it is possible for them to attack quick enough to kill you there, but in my experience, they don't. So it's pretty safe. So here, I make this jump again. It's a pretty easy jump. It looks hard, and there is a lot of ways you can die there if you screw that jump up, but it's not too bad. You don't want to go too far to the right and land in that water up there, and then you get stuck and die. And if you don't land on that little ledge, you go too far to the left, you die. So, but it really isn't as hard as it looks, trust me. So now here's the tricky part. So from what I have tested, if you run as fast as you can, once you pass the corner up here, you will not get shot by the ghost laser beam. Basically, it's a timing issue. Right here, you want to go as quickly as possible. Now, there is some RNG to that, but as you can see, I made it. Now, I bait the Reaper to a melee attack me so he doesn't shoot me. He shot at me anyway, and I dodged it by juking instead of rolling because no roll. That is not the best RNG, because a lot of times if you bait that Reaper's melee attack like that by waiting, he will not immediately shoot at you like he did to me. But he did anyway, so I got unlucky, but I still was able to dodge. Normally you would just roll through that, but I'm doing this no roll thing, thanks Tolo. So that is how you beat 4-2, no roll, no shield, no magic. On level 1, regular game. Actually on New Game Plus it wouldn't have been any different because I didn't get hit. Now this is the old hero boss, and this is very similar to Educator. Very simple boss. The only difference here is you need the Thief Ring for this strat. If you have the Thief Ring, his aggro is lost very quickly. And actually, there's a strat I do pull out for this up ahead. Because I have the Eternal Warrior Ring from killing Doran in 1-1. There's an exploity way to kill him, even on soul level 1, no roll, and blah 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 blah. So maybe I'll show that later. I've done it in videos before. So as you can see, I hit him, run away, he loses aggro. But it was a little risky because normally I roll, because rolling I feel like your aggro radius is less than running, I think. So what I do is, coming up, is I switch out the Cling Ring for the Eternal Warrior's Ring because pretty sure if he hits me I'm going to die anyway. It doesn't matter how much health I have in soul form. So the Eternal Warrior Ring makes more sense because I'll have more stamina, making it easier to get away from him. And that's basically the entirety of this boss. It's a very simple boss. I just want to show when I demonstrate that. As you can see there, it took a while to get me enough stamina to run away. So I'm like, yeah, fuck the Cling Ring. Eternal Warrior's Ring. Eternal Warrior Ring is basically the Chloranthy Ring of Demon Souls. The exact same thing. So here we're going to test it. The reason why I'm waiting here is to give me more room to run away. You don't want to attack him when he's very close to the corner of the room because then you might get trapped. You just need enough room to run away so he loses aggro. Yeah, and as you can see there, he didn't even come close to finding me that time. So if I just do that every time, he's never going to hit me. Pretty simple. Yep, and that's all there is to it. I'm going to edit this out because it's going to take effing forever. Okay, and he's almost dead, so I don't think anything different happened here. Yep, I need to hit him like once or twice more. And that's 4-2. And now that we've beaten 4-2, we have second chance. We still can't use it yet, even if we wanted to, because you need other equipment at SL level 1, but we have the spell. Well, the miracle, and we have the NPC who gives it to you. So next will be 4-3. Alright, so now it's just to finish off World 4. It's 4-3, which is another ridiculously easy boss. Storm King. There's really not, honestly, not even much to say. It's mostly just running. The boss is running. So, if you've played Dark Souls 3, you're going to see the Storm Ruler. This is where it came from. The only difference between this and Dark Souls 3 is with the Storm Ruler, it's even less of a fight than Yorm. It's pretty much a situation where you can't even really lose once you know what to do. So you run out here. You can pretty much ignore the Storm Beast shooting at me. If you're running, they won't hit you. You get the sword. Then you run back this way. Demon Souls was a very, very challenging game. The hardest Souls game in the history of the world. So you go into this, there's this broken down building over here, right? Now if you go in here, the boss can't hit you. He actually cannot hit you, like ever. And none of these little minions can really hit you either. Like it's possible, but it doesn't happen often. And in regular game, it won't kill you even at soul level 1, even if you get hit. So it's pretty easy. The only reason I'm killing them is because you basically need to kill enough to trigger the boss. And if you do kill like all these guys that fly over the building, then there's basically 0 chance of dying. Like as you can see, I got hit there and didn't even matter. So yeah, that's this boss. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's very difficult gameplay. Extremely difficult. Yeah, not much to say here. I'm just waiting for Storm King to show up. There he is. So I can, you know, show you what the boss, you know, the boss battle, the strategies. Well, bam. And yeah, that's the boss. That is the boss. Not the hardest thing. Yeah. Yeah. So he makes another pass, and as you can see, none of his attacks get through the building. And then you hit him, and there you go. So I'm probably going to edit this to the end of the fight now, because you've seen everything that happens. So that's that. And here he comes. We're going to finish him off. Oh, I hope we get him. Oh. Oh, he's getting away. Hey, we beat the bot. We beat World 4. No roll, no blocking, no shield, no magic. So level 1. But it's only regular game. Keep that in mind. So, when we activate the Archstone, it'll tell us that we can now do World 1 if we wish. And that's World 4 in those challenges. Not too bad.